So coming to question 7, I have already solved once, but unfortunately it didn't record, so I'm having to solve it again. So I had already written each and everything, so let me write again. The iodine test and the Benedict's test were carried out on samples. So the iodine, two types of tests were carried out. One is the iodine test, and the second is the Benedict's test. In exam, it is good to underline the important words because it makes answering easy. So since we know that two types of tests, one is the iodine test, one is the Benedict's test, were carried out on samples of a starch solution. We also know the type of solution that was being carried the test on. So amylase was added to another sample of the starch solution and incubated for 10 minutes. So it was heated for 10 minutes. The Benedict's test was then carried out on this sample. So three separate tests were carried out. The first one is the iodine test, and we know that iodine test is carried out for starch. And if starch is present, it turns blue-black. If it is absent, it turns brown, orange. So at first, since it is a starch solution, so of course it had a positive result. So either it's B or C. I have ticked them both. So coming to the Benedict's test before adding amylase. So first we need to know what is a Benedict's test. So Benedict's test is a test to see if there are reducing sugars present. For example, the examples of reducing sugars are maltose and glucose. But since starch is not a reducing sugar, so even doing a Benedict's test on the starch before adding amylase won't give a positive result, so it's negative. So the answer we can understand it's C because we have got both of them. So answer is C. But still, I'm trying to explain what happens after adding amylase. So when amylase is added, the starch is broken down to maltose. So when amylase is added, the starch is broken down to maltose. So maltose is reducing sugar. And when you do a Benedict's test after incubating for 10 minutes, of course, it's going to give a positive result. So the answer is C.